TJ the Wheel Deal coming at you live. It is Tuesday, January the 13th, 9:30 a.m. Central Time, Texas time. We're going to get into it today, guys. We're going to get into it today. We're going to do a little quick intro. My name is TJ. I'm the Wheel Deal. I sell puts, I sell calls for a living. I roll in, makes dollars and cents, and I have the knack for buying the timely leaps. We'll do the 1 minute with God segment. Then we're going to go over one of my favorite quotes of all time, and it's by Teddy Roosevelt, the man in the arena. Real quick portfolio update. Probably take no more than 10 minutes on that. And then I want to have a discussion on all things backstop trades. I've been featuring a couple of backstop trades, the end phase, SoFi, and PayPal trades, featuring them on X, and I get a lot of feedback, a lot of pushback, a lot of it, a lot of chatter, if you will. So I just want to walk y'all through what the thought process is when I put on a backstop trade, when it's sunny and 75, like when it's ideal conditions, so that this company, this stock meets the criterion that I'm looking for a backstop trade. Now, keep in mind, I'm the man in the arena, right? In this case. So the backstop trade has to make sense to me. It doesn't have to make sense to you. And I think that Twitter doesn't understand that concept. They don't understand that concept. They want it to make sense to them. And I'm like, it doesn't make sense to you. That's why you won't never make any dollars with it, right? I try to preach and teach that end phase is a no-brainer. And everybody wants to buy is going to want to buy in phase when it's like 75 or 100. And that's cool. That's cool. This business is tough. This business is tough from the standpoint of people want to always pay more for inventory. I look at stocks like inventory, and people always want to pay higher prices for inventory in this business. And I don't understand that. I don't understand that concept. Like, to me, whenever I get into a stock, I don't usually lead out with 100% of the allocation. So I'm like, I kind of hope this stock tanks. That way I could acquire more shares at a better price, because I'm in the business of trying to buy low and sell high. That's just me. That's my mentality. But it's because I've owned several businesses along the way, and I've had inventory. I've had payroll. I've been in the wholesale retail business, if you will. So I just don't understand that concept. And again, this isn't the type of channel where I spend a lot of time trying to convince anybody. I just document my journey so that my son Jeremiah can have a footprint. That's it. So you guys are just beneficiaries of that. If you guys see value, hit like and subscribe. If you don't, talk your shit, man. It's all good. It is all good. The beautiful thing that I've discovered over the last year on X is the mute button, the block button. And here I've learned how to ban people from the channel. So it's really awesome that you get to control what kind of energy you receive, right? So it's pretty awesome. Anyway, a little bit under the weather. I'm taking pills. I've got the chloroseptic. In fact, I need a shot of chloroseptic right now. And I'm taking time off from the gym, right? Because the body's telling me, hey, something's not right. So I got to get it together. So I can put on these little glasses. Let me turn them on, so we can knock out the 1 minute with God. Takes about 10, 15 seconds for it to power up and tell me what the battery life is. I'll find the little book here and we'll get started with 1 minute with God. I hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are doing well. It is my hope. It's my prayer for you, for all of you, the people that cheer for me, against me. It's all the same to me. It's my hope that you squeeze this life for everything that you possibly can. I want you to squeeze all the blood out of the tournament. I want you to squeeze all the juice out of the lemon, so that you can live your best life, whatever that looks like for you. Because I'm living mine, and it's an awesome place to be. It is really, really an awesome place to be. To wake up in the morning and be like, I like being me. I love being me. There isn't anyone else in the world that I would rather be. I don't suffer from that type of envy. And it is my hope that you guys can get to that place in your life because it is fucking awesome. And I know I shouldn't be using the F word because we're going to do the 1 minute with God, but I'm just showing you I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect. It's something that I work on daily is I'm trying to limit my F bombs to like 5 a day. I've been doing pretty good for probably the last, I don't know, maybe a month or so, 2 months ago, 2 months or so. It's getting easier and easier to go through the whole day without feeling triggered because I just feel like a good F bomb every once in a while just like does the body good. But it's something that I eventually want to remove from my vernacular. That day's not today though. It's a process. Anyway, let's get on to it. Get on with it. It is January the 13th. Trust. Should probably turn the lights on. It's kind of tough to read in here, but I got a little bit of a headache and I feel like I do better with the lights off right now. I'm afraid that if I trust God, well, I guess I should turn this on. Hold on. Here we go. Trust. I'm afraid that if I trust God, He will take me someplace I don't want to go. What can I do about this fear? And God's plans are always good plans. His desires for you will fulfill and satisfy you. If your mind and heart are truly in tune with His will, you won't be going where you don't want to go. He changes your heart before He adjusts your future plans. Will you let Him change your heart? Since God alone knows the future, who can plan your future better than He? God's response: take delight in the Lord, and He will give you your heart's desire. Psalms 37:4. My purpose is to give you life in all its fullness. John 10:10. May He grant your heart's desires and fulfill all your plans. Psalm 20:4. And then this is Jeremiah 29:11 again. For I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord. They are plans for good and not for disaster, to give you a future and a hope. And then God's promise, He fills my life with good things. Psalm 103:5. You got to let go and let God, right? You got to let go, let God be God. You got to trust God. He, I heard this pastor a long time ago say, who's the author of your life? You're a God. And if you're authoring your life and it's not going where you want to be, then maybe you might want to let Jesus take the wheel, so to speak, right? But I think that's hard to do because I think we all have like these control issues. We have like this God syndrome where we think that we're smarter than the creator and we know best what's best for us. And that's tough. That's tough. I think that's an ongoing process. That's something that we all deal with, is to let go and let God be God. So there's that. Now I want to start with one of my favorite quotes, transition to one of my favorite quotes, and it's called The Man in the Arena. So let's start with that. The Man in the Arena. It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who never know victory nor defeat. Theodore Roosevelt, April the 23rd, 1910. Guys, that quote just speaks to me. It's always spoken to me. I feel like the loudest voices are always the ones in the stands. They're the spectators. I've always been more interested in being a player. I've always been more interested in being a player. That's why I was involved in sports growing up. Like a lot of you are involved in sports growing up. And it's really funny, man. Just go like to your local high school game or whatever and pay attention to the student body. Pay attention to the student body, and you're going to see that the best players are always the ones that are in the stands. It's really interesting. It's really, really interesting to me to see that group dynamic, that human dynamic, that it's always the person that's on the outside looking in that thinks that they could do it better than the person that's actually in the arena. We do it all the time when we watch sports. On X, they do it all the time. If you post your trade, a lot of people just chime in. Oh, you can do X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, well, cool. Why don't you show your trades and we can learn from you? But they're real reluctant and reticent to do that. And I wonder why that is. It's because it's a lot easier to judge than to be judged, right? And I think it's in the book of Matthew, or it might be Corinthians. Do not judge lest you be judged, right? So I've always thrived in trying to be the man in the arena. I love it. I love it. I want all the pressure on me. I want to be the player. You guys can be spectators if that's what you want to do. But I suggest, playing your own life. And that's what I love about this channel is the full transparency and the fact that we try to help each other out. So it's like, I'm going to show my trades. I'm going to show y'all my journey. I do a lot of FaceTimes with you guys, and you show me your trades and you show me your journey, and we get to lift each other up. We get to help each other out. So it's awesome. So anyway, I want to encourage you guys to be the man in the arena. Don't be a critic. Don't be that douchebag. Be the man in the arena, and seek others that are going to help lift you up and tune the people out that are trying to bring you down. You get to control the energy. You get to control. I mean, it's whatever you choose to allow, right? What you're not changing, you're choosing. I didn't like being fat, still kind of chubby. So I changed it because I no longer wanted to choose that life. And you have control. You have control over a lot of things. A lot of things are within your grasp. Some things are not. You got to let life play out, right? But there's a lot of things that are in your control. So you have to choose what makes the most dollars and cents for you. We are in a financial channel, if you will. So anyway, so there's that. There's the man in the arena. So let's keep it on task here. What else we got going on here? Quick portfolio update. I glanced at the portfolio this morning. It seems like there was CPI data today, and I guess it came in right at above expectations, right? 2.6, 2.7%. And it seems like the market was pumping a little bit and then it kind of like deflated. I don't know where it's at right now. Stop paying attention. So let's do a real quick portfolio update and we'll go from there. I've got my TV in the background. I'm going to see if this thing shows up here. And if it does, great. If it doesn't, well, we'll have to figure it out. Give me a couple of seconds. I'm waiting for it to auto-populate. There's about a 7 to 10 second lag with watching YouTube live while I'm live. So still don't see it. So I'm guessing it's not showing. So I have to remove that. Let's go present, stop screen. We're going to try this again. Present, share the screen, entire screen. Maybe that's what we need to do. And then we'll get it going here and it should show up here. I'm giving it a couple more seconds. And I think we should be there. Boom. We're in business. Yahtzee, Yahtzee, Yahtzee. That's a good family game, by the way. I recommend it. Wife and I play it when other couples come over. We're like highly competitive, and we get angry at each other when we can't get the 5 dice that, you got to have like the same numerical value on 5 dice to get Yahtzee. And my wife and I get real angry at each other because we can't roll Yahtzee. It's like we really have control over it. It's awesome. It's a fun game. Fun game. Anyway, let's get going. The first thing I look at is always, how are we doing for the day? Up or down, sideways? What are we doing? Some of the portfolios are up, some are a little down. I'd say plus or minus 250 grand to me is just a very flat day for the portfolio. So the portfolio is doing pretty flat. We'll go through some of these positions in a little bit. I always like to put this on days to expiration. I'm going to switch over to the website because we can make everything a little bit bigger. But I want to be over here for just 1 second because there's a metric that's real important here for me, and that's buying power usage. So let me glance at these. We got 21%, 54%, 49%, 57%, 39%, 48%, 49%, 42%. And then my son's DGen account, 96.9% buying power usage, because we're all in on BMing over here. So let's go over to the other side. Let's go over to the other side and see. Under trading, I believe. Okay, so now let's figure it all out here. How can we share this stuff accordingly? So we'll start off with my son's account. So what's going on with my son's account? Very straightforward. There's 8,500 shares owned at $6.13. You see the little negative 573 up here. And that's taken into account the premiums received on the cover calls. So we got 8,500 shares for sale at $11 on Friday. We picked up a pretty good chunk of change in premiums, and we're up a lot on those covered calls. Pretty flat on the shares. We own them at 613. They're going for 613. So we're not making any money on the shares, but the cover calls have printed, and we can put them up for sale again and bring in another $3,000 or $4,000, for the next cycle. And I like that idea. I like that idea of having, you can have a risky trade on, you got to bring some money through the door, right? And I would say that BMNU being a leveraged play on BMNR is a very, very risky play. You're going to deal with NAV erosion, right? Net asset value. You can deal with erosion. You're going to deal with volatility drag. They're not going to mirror exactly because it just doesn't always work that way. If you don't believe me, just look at TSOL and Tesla over the last year. These leverage ETFs don't exactly follow accordingly, right? So if the underlying stays flat, these things tend to go down. And so they're not really designed to be long-term holds. I'm playing for the pump. I am playing for the pump. I feel like Bitcoin and Ethereum are going to pump here in very short order, especially when this Clarity Act goes through. And I want to be there for the ride. I want to be there for the ride. I would like to exit these shares at $9-10. And the portfolio will be close to $100,000, and we'll find another trade. We won't go straight degen mode anymore. So that's what's going on with that one. This account here is a newer account. It's about $600,000 in value. We got 4 positions. So let's talk about these positions real quickly. I've got it on days to expiration. I like things expiring chronologically. So we got Clean Spark. We've got 100 puts at $10. I feel great about those. We've got a little strangle on NVIDIA. So it's a sweet spot trade, 150 and 230. Those are the goalposts. So it's a goalpost trade, right? So we essentially need NVIDIA to cruise between 150 and 230 for the next 45 days. I like our chances for rain there. In other words, I think it's going to rain cash. I think that position is going to print. Another goalpost trade, short strangle with Palantir, 130 and 240. So it's a nice little sweet spot trade between 130 and 140. Why did I say sweet spot? Because that's your sweet spot. Your sweet spot is in between the two goalposts. And then there's a backstock trade on PayPal. So there's an agreement to buy 20,000 shares of PayPal at $50. 339 days from now, we're down a little bit on the position collectively. So as long as PayPal closes above $50, 339 days from now, we'll be good. And we'll revisit this position here and the other portfolio down the road. Accounting in 45. Well, I guess I got to take this one off. Counting in 45, there's just two positions. We got the BM&U trade. We're just doing a little swing trade on BM&U. We got the shares for sale at $8. And then we've got a trade on PayPal at 52.50, 122 days from now. I like both of those positions there. I think they'll print pretty nicely. Account ending in 19. This is about a 360,000. No, this is about a $650,000 account or so. We got 6 positions there. Let me look at them real quick. Days to expiration. Let me get this going here. Okay. We got SoFi. We've got an agreement to buy 10,000 shares of SoFi at $24, 17 days from now. Don't even have to look at that trade. I don't think SoFi is going to 24. PayPal, we've got 300 contracts at 55. These potentially I'll have to manage those, and I'm totally okay with that. But that's 38 days from now. We'll see. Earnings will probably be between then, and we'll have a lot more information on whether or not PayPal is getting things going in the right direction, right? It's taken them a while to get on track. The market sentiment is in the toilet. It's perfect. It's absolutely perfect for the way that I want to make money with PayPal. CleanSpark, this is a trade we put on a few days ago. An agreement to buy 10,000 shares of CleanSpark at $10. I just felt like it was money on the floor, and it was whether or not I was willing to bend down and grab it. That's an easy money trade. Palantir is a sweet spot trade, 140 and 240. Strategy, this is short puts at 160. So strategy just needs to hang out above 160. And we got $133,000 of extrinsic value. This is a campaign. This isn't a trade, meaning I want to be in this particular position over and over and over again for the next 3 to 5 years. So I'll just keep rolling and rolling and rolling. And depending on how strategy is doing, I may roll the position up or down, but it's going to be in the portfolio indefinitely as long as the investment thesis isn't broken with strategy. And I think that eventually we'll realize a pretty damn big win on strategy. And then BM&R, this is just a trade here. Bought 2,000 shares at $39, and we don't even have them for sale right now. We're waiting for a pump. We've already made some money on covered calls on this particular position, so we're just waiting on a little bit of a balance, and we'll put them on again. We'll put them on again. I won't sell covered calls for less than $40 strike price, because I'm not going to agree to, I'm not going to buy them at $39.20 and agree to sell them for less than $40. Account ending in 90. This is a $360,000 account or so. We got 4 positions. Let me get the days to expiration right here. There we go. So we got BM&U. We've got 10,000 shares bought at $5.50. We've got the shares for sale at $8 on Friday. I don't know that it's going to get to $8. I won't care. If it goes to $10, I won't care. I'll sell the shares at $8 and be done with it. SoFi, we got an agreement to buy shares at 50 contracts. So like 5,000 shares at $24. And you have to look at that position. PayPal, same deal here, 200 contracts at 55, 38 days. This is a campaign. I want to be in this trade at least through the end of the year. I want to keep rolling. We'll talk about where I would actually be interested in taking ownership of PayPal. We'll talk about that, because I've been doing more and more homework, and I do have a number where I would legit go all in on PayPal. Strategy, 25 puts at 160. I feel pretty good about this portfolio, and I have to look at it. And that's what I like. I like portfolios that I don't have to manage that much, because I want to go out there and live life. Portfolio ending in 01. This is an account approaching $900,000. We got 5 positions. So we got BM&U. We got an agreement to buy 10,000 shares at $6. Those will probably expire out of the money on Friday. And we got an agreement to buy another 10,000 shares at $8 38 days from now. Those are obviously in the money right now. SoFi, we got an agreement to buy 10,000 shares at $24. Don't you have to look at that? PayPal, we got the 300 contracts at 55. Again, this is a campaign, so there's a lot of people. That's why I like posting screenshots on X, but then I kind of don't, because that's all that people can see. They just see that and like, I wouldn't do that. And I'm like, well, it's because you're looking at the trade. I'm looking at the campaign. So it's just, I get it from the standpoint of that's all that you can see. That's all that you can see, but that's not what I see. I read a comment there in the background. Ain't a chance you go all in on PayPal. I would at my price. We'll talk about it in a second. Clean Spark, $10 put. Don't even have to look at it. And then Palantir is a sweet spot trade, 140 and 240. That's not even noteworthy. It's not even worth talking about. That's some of the easiest money on Wall Street right now. Account ending in 33. This is a almost $800,000 account. We have 6 positions. Let me get the days to expiration lined up. So we got BM&U, we got 10,000 shares, and they're for sale at $9. So I'd love for those shares to get called away. I don't think it'll happen. SoFi, we got an agreement to buy 10,000 shares at 24. Nothing to talk about there. PayPal, again, the same 300 puts at 55. We're going to keep going and going and going with this campaign for the next year or two. And I'll tell y'all at what point I would go all in on PayPal here when we get to the bigger account. Clean Spark, 100 contracts at $10, nothing even to talk about. Strategy, 75 contracts at 38 days from now, 130 strike, nothing to even talk about. Palantir, I'm done talking about Palantir. It's not even worth talking about because we're just collecting data. Account ending in 20, I'll end with account ending in 60, so I skipped it intentionally. Account ending in 20, $1.1 million portfolio. Just making sure the days to expiration are lined up. There we go. So we got BM&U, we got 10,000 shares, and we got the shares for sale very aggressively at $7 on Friday. I hope it gets there. Strategy, we got an agreement to buy 10,000 shares at 135. I would love for that to happen. I don't think it's going to happen, but I'm okay making an extra $19,600 of extrinsic value. PayPal, we got the 300 contracts at 55. So y'all are going to see a theme here. SoFi, we got a strangle going, right? 300 puts at 26 versus 200 calls at 38. 38 days from now, I don't even think we have to talk about that position. Clean Spark, nothing to talk about. Palantir, nothing to talk about. Enphase, a backstop trade at $25, nothing to talk about. We already did my son's portfolio. Let's go over the big account here. Let me see if this thing will cooperate. There we go. Super. So we got strategy. We closed out the 150 puts because we were at about 90% profit. So there wasn't enough meat on the bone to keep that trade on. I closed out 100 of these. There was 300 puts. So I closed out 100 of them yesterday. I closed out the other 200 today. And things are looking really good. Made quite a bit of money on strategy there. In fact, we can look at the order chain. We can look at the order chain. The total P&L is about 760 to the no bueno, but we have been making money on the short strangles. So between these two here, between the 150 and the 280, made about $250,000. And so now everything's just riding on the 170 puts. So those puts are obviously in the money slightly. They're 156 days from now. There's $2 million of extrinsic value. We got to milk all of it. We milk all of it. We make $1.25 on the position. I'm really thinking that strategy is probably going to go parabolic here a little bit because I think Bitcoin's going to hit all-time highs here pretty soon. But there's a real big part of me that hopes that it doesn't happen because I want to keep this position on. I don't want to just be done with strategy in 4 or 5 months and cool, we made 1.2 million. Who wouldn't be happy about that? I'm happy, but I'm not that happy because I feel like we can make $5 million with this thing if it just goes sideways. Listen to what I just said. We can make a lot more money if this thing goes sideways versus if it just goes to the moon. Why? Because we don't own any shares. So I want to keep the campaign on. So whenever I sell puts, it's a campaign. It's not just a trade. If it's something that I really believe in. So if all the stars could align, if I could decide how it's all going to play out, I'm going to hope that this shit goes sideways, guys. I ain't hoping for it to go to the moon because then I got to go find another trade because I probably won't be comfortable selling puts above $200. So I have a pretty small window there, to make money with strategy. If it goes past 200, I lose the play. I'm done. Now I got to go move those money somewhere else. And there's nothing wrong with that. You just take the money, go home, wipe your tears with the profit. But I'd rather not do that because then now I got to work harder. I got to go find another position that I feel just as good about so I can tie up that kind of capital. And I'd rather just stay over here. The volatility is pretty good. I feel very, very comfortable. I read, one article per day on strategy. I watch 2 or 3 interviews of Michael Saylor. I even watch some bear case videos on strategy. And I'm convinced that the bears, he's got to be bearish on Bitcoin. And I'm not bearish on Bitcoin. So I'm like, this is the play. This is the play where I feel like I can make a shitload of money, but I need the stock to cooperate. I'm really, really hoping this thing will not go over $200 over the next 6 months. It's very, very unlikely that happens. I feel like this thing will be trading at $300 in the next 6 months, and that's okay. That's why we have other plays that we'll transition to. End phase. We've got the backstop trade at $25, 339 days from now. And then we've got naked calls at 40. So we essentially need end phase to stay below $40 over the next 17 days. And over the next 339 days, we just needed to camp out above 25. Where it goes below 25, it's not really that big of a deal either. But essentially, if we don't want to take ownership and we want this trade to expire out of the money, we need end phase to close above $25, 11 months from now. What's a perfect scenario for me with end phase? Is end phase to just cruise here, to cruise between like 25 and 40, because then this play can stay on. And I could do it again for another year, maybe even go from 25 to 24 to 23 and bring in more premiums. And I've got a play that I feel very, very confident in, very comfortable in, and is just printing money. And this one, unlike the PayPal trade, is already at a strike where I would legit take ownership. So I don't even have to monitor this trade. I'm either going to own the shares or I'm not going to own the shares, and I'm just playing the 50-50 game. What's the 50-50 game? If I can capture 50% of the premiums with more than 50% of the time left on the clock, I'll consider A, closing the trade and be done, or B, moving up the strike price if I feel that bullish. C, do nothing. I'm like, dude, this thing's good. I don't have anywhere else to transition the money that feels just as good. So I'm just going to go ahead and milk another $150,000, because if we were at 50%, there'd probably be about $150,000 of extrinsic value there. And if I can't find anywhere else to put the money, then I'll just leave it there. It's pretty capital efficient. Y'all are seeing the capital requirement there, $305,000, right? So there's $324,000 of meat on the bone right here, and it's utilizing $305,000 of capital requirement. It's crazy, but that's what portfolio margin brings you. They give you a lot of rope. It's up to you not to hang yourself with it. SoFi, with another backstop trade at $22, 2,000 contracts. There's $756,000 of meat on the bone. And then I've also got naked calls or short calls 38 days from now at 36. So we just need SoFi to camp out. We need to camp out. I don't mind it going to 31, 32, 33, 34. I don't want it to go up too much. On the one hand, it's good because that means that the 22 puts are not in jeopardy and we're making money. But on the other hand, I'm kind of annoyed because I'm like, oh shoot, I'm probably not going to have this play on anymore after I suck out the $756,000 in premiums. That's it. Now I got to go find something else because $26 is the max that I'm willing to sell puts on SoFi. So maybe I'll be able to put the trade on one more time if the juice is worth the squeeze. I mean, it's not taking a lot of capital. So if I can get similar capital requirements there, right, like a 2-to-1 ratio in my favor, then I could possibly put the trade on one more year. 9 months from now, I'll really be looking at this position to see what I want to do with it. But in a perfect world, SoFi won't be over $40 because then I might have a chance. Or I could at least have rolled from 22 to 26 and squeezed more premiums out of there. Is SoFi at a level where I would just want to take ownership at $22? No, $20 is the number. BMNU, this is just a swing trade. We got 150,000 shares. We bought them at 626. They're currently going for 620, so we're losing a little bit of money there. But we also have an agreement to buy 100,000 more shares at $8, 38 days from now. So I think this position is going to work out real well on a pump. I think that we'll make a couple $100,000 on BMNU real quick. Palantir, sweet spot trade, nothing to talk about. Apple, sweet spot trade, 220, 340 down the road, nothing to talk about. Google, these are short strangles. Nothing to talk about. 220 and 500. What are we talking about? PayPal. We're going to talk about this position here in just a second. BMNR. This is the thorn in the portfolio, right? 100,000 shares owned at $44. And then we got the leaps. We've got 400 leaps at 75. I don't even have covered calls on these because I just closed out a very profitable covered call campaign on this, made like $30,000 again on the covered calls. But I am trying to be a little bit patient, waiting for a little bit of a pump, and then I'll put the calls on again. And I'm selling the calls at $40. Unless it pumps to like 33 or 34, then I'll sell the calls at 44 because then at that point I don't have to monitor the position. Because if you bought the shares at 44, you sell them at 44, your profit is all the premiums that you made along the way. ASST, this is the moonshot play. It's recovering pretty nicely. We got the 250,000 shares at 137, currently going for 116. And then we've got the 5,000 leaps at 250 strike, 367 days from now. I don't think that I'm going to keep these on. I think that if this thing pumps to like 130, 140 and this becomes profitable, I think I'm just going to free up that money and I'm just going to rock with the shares because the shares don't expire. These guys do, and I just don't want to monitor that position. So I'm really just hoping to get lucky there, just straight up, just hoping to get lucky. It's a moonshot play, so it's all luck, right? So I'm hoping to get lucky here and maybe make $10,000, $15,000 on those leaps and be done with it. And then I'm just going to monitor these particular shares here. Now, if I choose to start selling covered calls against the shares, let's say it pumps to like $1.50 or $2, I take a look at the options chain and there's something there that draws my attention, then I'll keep the leaps on because those leaps give me a license to sell covered calls because I still have the participation trophy to the upside. But if I choose to close these, then I'm basically saying I'm hodling these shares. And then now I got to figure out what my exit price is. Whenever I put this trade on, I was like, I want to sell these shares for $8 to $10. That was what I decided when I first did it. Did very little research. Now I've done a little bit more, and I still kind of stand by that 8 to 10. But I want to ride with 100,000 shares long term because if they can get to 8 to 10, then I sell 150,000 shares and I'm free rolling with house money. And at that point, I could just see it through. You either trust management or you don't, right at that point. And who knows, maybe they could do something crazy and this could end up being, from a percentage perspective, one of the largest wins I've ever had in the stock market. So there's that. Now I want to talk about backstop trades because we have 3 of them. We got PayPal, we've got Enphase, and we've got SoFi. So we got Enphase, backstop trade at 25. We've got SoFi backstop trade at 22, and we got PayPal backstop trade at 50. Keep that in mind. These all expire 339 days from now and 367 days from now. So we're going to spend the rest of our time talking about that. So I don't need those positions up anymore. I'm going to go through the comments, and then I want to talk to y'all about my mindset, like why these trades make sense for me and why I think they're going to make a lot of dollars, hence dollars and cents. They don't have to make sense for you. I'm the man in the arena. You're the man in the arena for your portfolio. So make sure, it is my plea to you. It is my plea to you. Make sure that your trades make dollars and cents for you. I believe that the trades that I have on are going to make dollars and cents for us. We're all running our own race here at the end of the day. This isn't a competition with each other. There's plenty of money to be made in the stock market. Make sure that you're investing in companies that you legit believe in. You don't have to believe in my portfolio, and I don't have to believe in yours. Financial Twitter doesn't understand that concept yet. We don't have to cheer against each other to win, unless I guess you're on the other side of the trade. But that's just not what we do. You don't have to do that. You don't have to expend that kind of energy. It's idiotic. It's absolutely idiotic. So what we do on this channel is we generally look at positions and we are like, okay, well, I wouldn't be in that trade, but this is how I would manage it. And then you can either take that with a grain of salt, use it if it works for you. If it doesn't work for you, then discard it. It's all good. Let me check in with you guys. What's going on, Prabs? What's going on, Manish? Lope, what's going on? Shamu, what's going on? Main Man 375, Ticker Tap, greetings. Good morning, everyone. Life's good. 2012. Derek Clark, how are you? What's going on, Jonathan? What's going on, Kenneth? I'm going to take these glasses off because I feel like I could see better without them as far as the monitor. Because I feel like I'm like this all the time trying to see from the bottom of the glasses because they're like bifocals or some sort of progressive lens, whatever that is. Sammy Trades, how are you? Hans Gruber, SJ, how are you? Always nice to see SJ on here. He's one of the OGs of the channel. Rock on Wheeler Nation, feel better soon. Appreciate you, Mike. 1 minute with God is such a beautiful idea to start the stream. Awesome, Daniel. Appreciate you. Yeah, gotta edit. I'm human, man. I'm human. What's going on, Mark? How are you? Angel, Bill Buttlicker. It's called 1 Minute with God. That's literally what it's called. I think I found it on Facebook. And I think I found it on Facebook and it came on my feed a couple of times. I guess because maybe I like click learn more or something, and then I didn't buy it right away. I think it was when I saw it on the third or fourth time. So I denied Christ 3 times, like Peter. And then I picked up 2 of them. One for me and one for my buddy Roland. This is his Christmas gift. I gotta mail it. I gotta mail it. Today I'm going to mail it. I'm lying. I'm gonna have my wife mail it. I gotta get it to him. Shoot, he's already 13 days behind. You got Vicks on the table and Vicks is up today. Yeah. I got this thing on my feet. I got it on my chest, behind my ears, inside my nostrils. This stuff's good, man. This stuff's good. Well, I literally just seen this at my workplace office gym. Drake said it best. They scream out my failures and whisper my accomplishments. That sounds about right. Chris, appreciate you. Looking forward to connecting for sure. Send me a DM and I'll get you the info to the WhatsApp group and I'll get you the link for the Calendly so we can schedule our FaceTimes. Keep in mind, guys, if you're a subscriber on X, you need to become a member on YouTube at least $3, the $3 level or whatever the cheapest level is, because all of the streams aren't always going to be public. Mostly I go private for the members only. So the X subscribers won't have access to those videos unless you're a member on YouTube as well. So just go get the cheapest one. And then and what I do for the X subscribers that have to pay the extra $30 a year or whatever for the cheapest one is I'll give you one extra FaceTime for the year to kind of make good. The amount of value of these are intangible aside from the options knowledge. ASST Merchant right now, that's awesome, man. With similar, however you say it, right? That's exciting. They're going to have another 5,000 Bitcoin on the balance sheet, right? Is that kind of the idea? I think they'll become like the 7th or 8th largest Bitcoin hodler in the world at that point. Top 10 for sure. Wondering if I should buy into Adobe. I've just not followed Adobe a lot. I know I don't know. I don't watch Financial Jeremy, the education, but I want to say he was bullish on Adobe because I feel like I saw those posts on X or something. It came through my algorithm. So you may want to watch his videos because I'm pretty sure he's bullish on Adobe and he does a pretty good job of breaking down why he likes certain companies. And yes, he did get Tattoo Chef wrong. We all get stuff wrong. He was just public about it. I like CleanSpark until they transition a data center play to Shippy for me. That's fair, man. And that's the beautiful thing about the market is there's 10,000 stocks out there. Pick one that you believe in. And sometimes that's the hardest thing, right? Ain't no chance you go all in on PayPal. We're going to talk about that one. I'm going to put that comment up whenever we talk about it. I'm just trying to get through these and we'll go from there. That's a fact. TJ, Steve is doing a 10K challenge with Matt. You should talk to them. He was thinking about getting more people into it. I just don't know if that's worth my time. I've got a lot of stuff going on here, and I'm trying to get us to 100 million, guys. 10,000 is just I don't want to do it. What am I going to do with that? Like it takes effort, man. Like it's just so hard to trade a small account. It takes so much energy. It takes just as much energy to trade a bigger account, except the difference is you can make a lot more money. I feel like it's cool because I think a lot of people can learn and benefit from it, but I also feel like it's just like it's more entertainment, and I don't do YouTube for entertainment. I don't trade for entertainment. Like it's my livelihood. If it was like $1 million challenge, like that's exciting. That's exciting, or $100,000, like that's exciting because that moves the needle. I'm gonna like have to go on podcasts and talk about this all the time and turn it into like a soap opera where there should be at least pot at the end of the rainbow, if that makes sense. But Steve's addicted to being on YouTube, right? He's been on YouTube for a couple months now, like every day, all day. It's I'm not like I was at first, but I'm not anymore. Now I'm just like I go on for my obligatory 3 to 5 times live per week, and I try to like live my life. Steve thing using options. I don't know, man. I haven't followed it, to be honest with you. Steve's rules includes no margin. Yeah, you see, I wouldn't be a candidate for that because Steve's not going to make the rules for how I do things. Interesting. Good morning. Oh, there you are. I couldn't find the show. Good morning. What's going on, Doug? How are you? What is your options buying percentages? About 50% typically. That's my sweet spot, man. Like 40 to 55, sometimes 60. If the VIX is already kind of high, I don't mind going as high as 60. But at these levels, I'm really, really careful when I'm above 55 because on a volatility expansion, that could hurt a little bit, and you'll find yourself having to close some positions, prematurely or rolling or whatever. And I just don't like playing that big. It's just too much. Yankee Doodle. I own 100, 280 strike United Health. I sold 100 cover calls at 400. Okay. The calls are gaining almost as much value as the call options. How do I handle this roll? What if it continues moving up? You can do two things whenever you have a call that's being challenged. A short call is being challenged. In your case, is you can obviously roll. That's one option. You can turn it into a covered position. You'd obviously have to have the money to buy the shares, because then at that point you're no longer worried about your covered call, right? You're covered. or or you can just close the position and look for a better opportunity to put the calls on again. So those are pretty much the only things that I can think of on the front end. So it just really just depends on you, like where you're at with the situation. If it's already a profitable campaign, maybe you just close the entire thing out and then you look for, greener pastures or something that fits your profile. Because a lot of times when you put a trade on, it fits your profile, everything checks out. But then as you stay in the trade a little bit longer and things start to play out, maybe your conviction wasn't as strong. Maybe your investment thesis cracked a little bit, and that's where you have to like readjust. And I think that the best wheelers out there, the best traders are the people that are very malleable. Like you want to be very, very flexible in this game because it's not about being right, it's about being rich. And whenever I sell options, I don't have to be right now. I just got to manufacture the win. I may be able to manufacture the win on this one trade and be done, right? One and done, cash grab. Or it might take me 3 to 5 years to manufacture the win, and that's okay. But that's where you got to be patient. I don't have to be right now. I'm the guy that can wear egg on his face for a year or two, and it's whatever. The man in the arena is going to have egg in his face sometimes, right? It is what it is. You're exposed. I chose to be exposed when I started doing screenshots and going live full transparency. So you have to be okay wearing an egg on your face and having a bunch of people tell you that you're wrong. Hey, you're an idiot. Oh my God, I can't believe you did X, Y, and Z. That's what you signed up for. That's what I signed up for. So you got to figure out what you need to do to manufacture the win, all the while being able to sleep at night, monitoring your risk, etc., managing your margin, the whole thing, right? You got a lot of rope, especially if you have portfolio margin, they give you a lot of rope. So just make sure that you don't hang yourself with it. Any thoughts on trading futures? No, it's just not anything that I'm interested in until I have probably another 2 or 3 years of experience in the stock market. I'm still polishing my tools, man. I'm still sharpening my tools. I I do feel that I'm on the path to becoming one of the best option sellers, that's fully transparent, but I got work to do. I got work to do. There's just things that I want to know better. I want to learn all the nuances and stuff, man. It's like an NBA player, they have the off season. A football player, they have the off season, and they use the off season to like get better. So at the end of every year, you do an assessment of where you're at, where's your game at, and not just like it's a bull market and you made, $3 million like we did last year. You hide behind that. I'm like, no, what if the market would have done X, Y, and Z? How would it have played out? And I saw a couple of holes in the game. So I'm like, well, I gotta get better at some things. I gotta get better at some things. I gotta really embrace technicals again. That's something that I kind of like put away too much and just kind of like fell in love with deltas. But now it's like I'm taking my time. I'm doing less trades. I'm studying the charts a little bit more before I put the trade on. And I just feel like it works. I just feel like it works better for me. Taking my time, less is more. So that being said, I feel like I have a lot of work to do here with selling puts, selling calls, collecting premium, buying the timely leap, rolling when it makes dollars and cents. Still polishing up my poor man cover call strategy, still working on synthetic longs, the timely put credit spread, embracing call credit spreads because those aren't really my thing. So I feel like there's a lot of tools here that I can work with. So I don't want to spread myself too thin because I think you can spread yourself too thin with capital, and you can also spread yourself too thin with time. And I believe that focus is a really, really key ingredient, a key component to having long-term success in the stock market. And it's very vanilla. It's very boring, It'd be like, oh, I sell puts and calls, collect premium, roll when it makes dollars and cents. And you'll read things like, oh, those are rookie strategies, X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, okay, cool. You're right. but I'm kind of rich. What do you want to be, right? What do you want to be? You got to pick a side. You got to pick a side. Not to be a dick, but you got to pick a side sometimes because you can't be right and rich at the same time. Oftentimes, I've just found in my life experience, it doesn't work that way. So I want to ask yourself, I want to challenge yourself. I want to challenge you guys right now. I'm not the nerds like Tevis and Tanner and Amit where they know how to put these little polls on the chat. I know how to do it on X. I don't know how to do it on here. But if you had to choose right or rich, which one are you choosing? And comment. But be honest. Be honest. Because I think that that's an issue. That's an issue in finance, on YouTube finance, on X finance, is people are more enamored with being right than being rich. And I don't understand that. It's just like the tickers. People fall in love with these tickers, Palantir Hood, SoFi, Riot, etc. Right? I've been there. Tesla. But about 2 years ago, the light bulb went on. Not off, on. It came on. And I was like, my favorite ticker is my portfolio. Those tickers are tools. My favorite ticker is the investing balance, the net liquidation value. That's my favorite ticker. And when that paradigm shift happened, I leveled up mentally, and it was just a matter of time before I leveled up financially. Is when I was like, I can't be falling in love with these stocks. These are tools. These are tools. I don't know anybody, any explanations if I get in and out of a stock. These CEOs don't explain to me why they sold shares. We just all assume, oh, probably had a tax obligation. Oh, it's going through a divorce. Oh, buying a house at the beach. Oh. They don't offer us any explanations. Why'd I got to explain to them? My favorite ticker is our portfolios. That's my favorite tickers. Where else are we at here? TJ, in a fresh portfolio, how much percentage do you allocate to a position and the cash carry? What's the balance in your best balance in your opinion? Oh man, I try not to go more than 20-25% on one position. I know there's a lot of gurus and gurus are like, oh, no more than 5%. I don't, whatever, man. Yeah, the right situation. Give me SoFi at $15. I'll go 100%. And let's get back on track now. PayPal. Let me pull up Twitter. Let me pull up Twitter here. Do I have Twitter up? Let me see if it shows up over here. I think it is. Yeah. Okay, cool. So I posted this yesterday. Okay, I like our stream, right? Right here. I posted this yesterday. Collected 1,074,256 in premiums for agreeing to buy 250,000 shares of PayPal at $50 in December. Yes, I'm willing to go all in on PayPal at 50. Now we hurry up and wait. That's a true statement. But I prefer it at 40. So whenever I finish, and we're done. I'm not adding any more contracts to PayPal. We're done. Why? Because that's the most amount of shares that we could afford to take ownership of. You can't afford anymore. So I'm not going to commit to buying more shares than I could afford because I would literally have to close out just about every other position to have the money, the $12 million, right? So let's just do the math. Where's my little calculator? Well, I guess I could just look at the spreadsheet because I have it on the spreadsheet too. Maybe it'll show up over here if I just do that. So the spreadsheet says it's $12,500,000. 12,500,000. Yeah, it's right there. $12,500,000. It's awesome. Just having a spreadsheet. I don't need my calculator. I don't want to spend $12,500,000 on PayPal. My target price to go all in on PayPal, if I had to, is $40, and that would be $10 million. So in a perfect world, let me walk y'all through this trade. So we'll have it here in the background. is I found a company that is in a transitional phase. Found a company that fell out of favor. New CEO, probably 18 months on the job or so, however long he's been on the job, a couple years. And he goes out there and he's like talking a real big game. Alex Chris. Don't know him personally. I think he's a pretty sharp cookie. But he makes it sound like they're going to shock the world. In fact, he says it had like this whole event looking like Apple. They're going to shock the world, right? They have this whole little thing. It's almost like Apple revealing their latest iPhone or some shit. And it was like a big nothing burger. So I think Mr. Market didn't like him talking all that shit. So you got to deliver. You got to deliver the goods if you're going to talk that kind of a game. So it seems like things were going okay for a while, and it started going up. Right? I think it might have even touched $100 not too long ago. And we made about $1 million with PayPal. We had some shares. We bought some leaps. It really, really worked out. But then I saw on the chart that it's just the move wasn't sustainable. So I closed the position and I was like, I think this thing's going to come back down to like 65. And then I'll revisit. I might have an opportunity to build a position again. And then I also had SoFi. I was like, all things being equal, I feel like SoFi's on the come up. We can't decide whether or not PayPal is a value trap. We can't decide whether or not it's a growth company. But the one thing that really, really appeals to a lot of people, and I think the reason why they can't totally stay away, is because PayPal is buying back the float. So it just makes it very, 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 very compelling. That being said, in a perfect world, when I drew up this trade, and I drew it up on that board that y'all see back there, when I drew up this trade, and I bored my wife to tears talking about it, because she was like, well, there's nothing exciting about PayPal. And I'm like, I think we can make $5 million. Does that excite you? And she's like, yeah. I was like, let me walk you through how I think we can make $5 million in the next 3 years if PayPal cooperates. I go, I'm going to sell a crazy amount of puts with an obligation to buy up to $15 million worth of PayPal, knowing damn well that we won't take ownership unless we can buy those shares for $10. So whenever I put the trade on, I was like, in a perfect world, this thing's going to go sideways, slightly down, might even breach our strike price, and that's okay, because I understand extrinsic value. I understand that we have enough extrinsic value on the contracts. We don't really run the risk of early assignment. I'm the man in the arena. I understand my opponent and how I'm going to play my opponent, because there's a lot of strategy involved. This isn't coin flipping. Whenever you sell options, it's not coin flipping. It's not binary. It's not win or lose. You can make adjustments. Guys. So I was like, man, in a perfect world, this is what I want to happen with PayPal. And I know it sucks, the things that I'm about to say, because there's people that are already long on PayPal. I apologize. I ain't trying to get you to hate me. This is my race. I'm the man in the arena with this particular position. So this is how I would love for it to play out. If I could have a meeting with the stock gods and they would listen to me, they never do. But let's just say this one time they were going to do me a solid. This is the way that I would want it to play out. I would want for the next 6 months to go by. We collected a bunch of theta, and PayPal is chopping between like 48 and 58. We look up and we're already up 40, 50% on this position. Then I start leaning forward on my chair because things are getting interesting. I post some screenshots, an update on the trade, and people are like, oh, we talked a lot of shit, but now we see you're up 40, 50% on the position. What are you going to do? So I'm hoping that we can get to that 50-50. 50% capture with more than 50% of the time on the clock. That's option one. But we're going to be limited with the amount of money that we're going to make on that trade at that point. Because if PayPal goes to 100, this is a one and done trade. I'll probably roll from 50, 55, 60, and I won't go over that. So if it goes to 100, 120, cool, we made over $1 million, but that's it. We're done. We're done because I don't trust PayPal at that point. So in a perfect world, I'm having this meeting with the stock gods. They're all ears. They got nothing better to do. They're talking. They're listening to me. PayPal goes to November, next November, because that's September, October, November. That's when I'm going to be looking to manage this trade. And I look up and PayPal's trading at like $51 or $52 per share. And we're in a situation where we can capture 60 or 70% of the premiums, because at this point, the data is going to be accelerating like crazy. Then I'm going to look to roll the position out an additional year, and I'm going to move that strike price from 50 to either 47.50 or 45, because at that point it's going to be the good angel and the angel and the devil, right? It's like, am I going to go after more premiums and keep the strike price at 50, bring in another $1 million in premiums, or am I going to de-risk the position and go from 50 to 47.50, or maybe even to 45, because we get a lot closer to where we're no longer bluffing. We want to take ownership, because our target to take ownership of PayPal is not 50, it's actually 40. And I would love to own $10 million worth of PayPal at 40. So theoretically, PayPal would just keep going sideways for the next year. And then we do it again and we roll it at 45. And then it just tanks for whatever reasons, and it goes down to like 40. And we take ownership of the shares. And now we're talking about the year 2028, something like that, 27, 28. And we own a crap load of shares, right? 250,000 shares of PayPal at $40, which would be a notional value of $10 million. And then we ride up those shares back up to like 60 or 70 over the next couple of years, all the while selling pretty aggressive covered calls. So yes, I would go all in on PayPal. And that's the beautiful thing about selling options and selling puts specifically, is you get to name your price. You get to name your price. So right here, I'm going to, trying to get $1 million for agreeing to buy PayPal at what I feel is an absolute good deal at 50. But let's just say the macros change. Let's just say something fundamentally shifts or changes with the company, because the sentiment can't get much lower. How do I know? Roy, Crossroads, that's my barometer. And he's getting really, really bearish. Why? Because he has shareholder fatigue. He's bought shares. He's probably lost money on leaps as well. And he's like, I'm tired of holding this thing, because there's other stocks that are ready to move up now. There's other stocks that are ready to move up now. So I was kind of like kindly posting on him, because I consider Roy a dear friend. In fact, he's my virtual pastor. I watch him most Sundays on YouTube. I don't know that y'all know that about Roy. I don't know if he wants me sharing it or not, but he's my pastor on YouTube. He's my YouTube pastor. So I listen to everything that he has to say about God, because he knows his Bible backwards, forwards, left, and right. So I look to him for that guidance virtually, if you will, because I just watch him on TV, on YouTube TV. Or on YouTube, they got a channel or whatever. But anyway, he's getting kind of bearish. So I feel like the bottom is near. I feel like the bottom is near, because this man has spent more time researching the company than anybody that I know. And he's finally dealing with shareholder fatigue. So I feel like I might have a chance to be able to stay in this trade, not just for this year, but for the following year, and bring in an additional $1 million in premium and lower the strike price from 50 to maybe 47.50 or 45. And then at that point, I'll be like, shoot, well, maybe I'll just take ownership at 45 if the opportunity presents itself. And then I ride those shares up $4 or $5, 250,000 shares, $4. That's another $1 million. And then you write it up another $4. That's another $1 million. And that is the case that I presented to my wife. And I was like, baby, this might be the surest double that we could find if we could get these shares at $40. But we got to agree to buy them at 50 right now, because if we put if we do the strike at 40, there's no premium over there. But then she's like, well, it's only like an 8 or 9% return, right? Economics degree, Stanford. I get it. I go, baby, these aren't cash secured. These are portfolio secured. So when she saw the capital requirement on the trade, she was like, this is a no-brainer. And I go, I think so too. I think it's a no-brainer too. So I'm trying to show this to you guys, and this is what I feel a lot of y'all are missing on this trade. This PayPal trade right here is that capital requirement's about $1 million. So there's $1.1 million of extrinsic value, because we're down 90,000 on the trade. Because when I sold these puts originally, PayPal was at like $58 or so, right? 57 and some change, 58. It's having a real bad day today. As somebody in the comments said, right, downgrade after downgrade after downgrade, all that stuff. So the sentiment is just absolutely in the toilet all the way around. So that bodes well for me. That bodes well for me, because there's a very, very high probability, at least for the next 60 to 90 days, maybe even 120 to 180 days, that this thing has no reason to come up. There's no reason to come up. So I would just milk a little bit of theta. It ain't much right now. It's only $2,500 a day. That's it. But it's going to ramp up. In a month from now, it's going to be closer to $3,000 a day. A month after that, it's going to be $3,200, $3,500 a day. And eventually we can get to the point where we're milking $10,000 a day in theta, and we're just camping out, but it's not tying up that much capital. It's not tying up that much capital. Now, if I had to tie up the $12.5 million right now to bring in the $1 million in premiums, then I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that. But as long as this capital requirement stays below, say, $4 million, we're golden. Because make no mistake about it, if PayPal comes down, we get closer to expiration, the capital requirement is not going to stay at 938,000. It's going to shoot up. If we have a volatility expansion, might shoot up. But the Ivy rank is pretty high on PayPal right now. It's pretty high on PayPal right now. So we are also in a position to play for a little bit of volatility contraction as well. But make no mistake about it, I'm not looking to add any more shares, because I wouldn't have the money to buy those shares. 16.5 million in cash, guys. The money's there. I would go all in on PayPal. If we could fast forward the clock a couple of years and we can get those shares at $40, you can bet your fucking ass that I want to buy those shares at $40, because that'll be the easiest money that I've ever made on Wall Street, or off Wall Street. I live in Texas. I don't think it's going to happen. I think I'm just going to be happy with the $1 million. I think that PayPal is going to shoot up to like 65, 70 towards the end of the year. It's going to be a recipient of another bull market. And I'm just going to be like, we tried. Got to be happy with $1 million. Are we going to roll the strike from 50 to 55? Are we willing to roll it from 55 to 60? The answer is yes, but I would take some contracts off the table. If I was going to roll up, every time I rolled up, I'd probably take 500 contracts off the table. If I roll up again, I'll take another 500 contracts off the table. And then at that point, I'd rock with 1,000 contracts at 60 and be happy with that. And then maybe PayPal would pull back a little bit, and then I could do it again and then try to scale into it again. So again, I'm asking you guys to have vision whenever you see these screenshots, because these screenshots, it's a point in time. It's like a selfie, but that's not that's not the entire campaign. That's just that trade. And these trades aren't set in stones. They're not the 10 commandments, guys. So I hope that helps you guys out. Again, it's my race. I'm the man in the arena in this scenario. You're the man in the arena in your scenario, in your portfolio. I feel really, really good about PayPal at 50. I'd feel ecstatic at 40. I would be looking for money. I would legit be looking for money at 40 bucks. What can we do to inject more money into the portfolio? Because this could be our freaking ticket to get to $100 million. Because that is what I'm always looking for, is how can we get to 100 million? And PayPal could go to 40 bucks. Holy cow, we got 250,000 shares. Every $4 that it recovers is $1 million. And that's the shit that keeps me up at night. I hope y'all got value. I got to run. I'm going to go grab some breakfast. I got a couple of FaceTimes today. I hope that I'm sorry that I'm not able to like talk real loud and enthusiastically. I'm a little bit under the weather. My wife had it bad last week, and I've got it a little bit this week. We're trying to power through, man. We're trying to power through. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. I appreciate each and every one of you guys for rocking with me through this journey. And again, just keep in mind, I'm the man in the arena, and you got to be the man in your arena. And don't be so quick to pass judgment, because if you have the courage to become the man in the arena, people are going to pass judgment on you as well. So just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Run your own race, man. Run your own race. You're not competing with me. I'm not competing with you. We're competing against the market. And it's a real tough game. So the more allies that you can have, the better it'll be for you. Do you appreciate me even though PayPal is dead? I mean, it's dead to you. You don't have to like my stock. It's just like, I'll give you all this analogy. Not one of you guys has to like my wife or love my wife or think she's beautiful. I have to love her. I think she's beautiful. And that's why she's my wife and she's not yours. It's the same thing with these positions, guys. They only have to make dollars and cents to you. They don't have to make dollars and cents to me. Hope that helps you guys out. I got to rock. TJ the Wheel Deal signing off. As always, may your sky stay blue, stocks green. Peace out. God bless you guys.